So Bookoplathon starts in 6 hours and I have just gotten back from my snack run. So essentially I just bought a whole ton of shit, but we have sausage rolls, which I've already started eating because I'm trash. I got 4 bottles of Pepsi Max because this is a staple. Hydration is important, and let's be real, I just drink a whole lot of Pepsi Max anyway. We also have cake, although this is more of just like dessert than a snack because I got 2 raspberry turnovers and 2 chocolate shoe buns. I also just got some general chocolate because, you know, the thing is I went into Tesco and I originally planned on getting some healthy snacks. That really didn't happen. So we have a extremely large bag of Maltesers, and we also have Magic Stars, which are my favorite, chef's kiss. And then going again kind of on the cake front, we have 4 triple chocolate Belgian cookies and 4 triple chocolate muffins. I like chocolate, can you tell? And then we also have strawberry onken, the one with the grains, because like the one without the grains is just like bottom tier, and the one with the grains is god tier. And I remember my mum giving this to me when I was a kid, so it's a nostalgia yogurt for me, but also a little bit on the healthier front than all of the chocolate. And then lastly, I picked up a pack of lightly salted kettle chips because I like my crisps fancy but also in basic bitch flavors. So those are my snacks for the Bookoplathon. I'm not going to eat all of this. Saying that I might, and that is actually quite concerning. I'm going to try not to eat all of this, but I'm prepared and I shouldn't have to leave the house for the next 54 hours because, as I mentioned, it's still 6 hours until the readathon starts. So we are approaching kickoff time for the readathon. I brought my spare tripod into this room. I'll be in the living room for the majority of this readathon. The only problem with this room is that it doesn't have any natural lights, and we had to replace the bulb and we didn't have any, so we have a dim bulb in at the minute, so it can be a little bit dark and a little bit depressing in here. So tomorrow daytime I may go through to the reading room and do some reading in there if I'm feeling like I need a change of scenery. My first book is going to be A Sacrifice in the Smoke by, I nearly said by Charlie Travesty, that is not correct. It's by KJ Sutton and Jessie Elliott, KJ Sutton being the author of Fortuna Swan. I've seen a whole ton of you guys reading the first book in this series for the readathon, which is A Whisper in the Dark, and I've also seen a whole ton of you reading Fortuna Swan, and I'm really fucking excited for all of you. But Sacrifice in the Smoke is the 4th installment in the Charlie Travesty serial. Each part is about 100 pages each, and they follow a vampire princess in this futuristic or alternate world where vampires have taken over New York City, and it's called New V. So when a vampire gets to 23 years old, they go through something called the Awakening. They go to sleep one evening or morning in vampire time, and when they wake up in the evening, their eyes have changed colour, and the colour of their eyes denotes what sector of the city they are going to be living in. So Charlie is approaching her awakening, and when her eyes change colour, they are a colour that nobody expected them to be. So that is a very loose synopsis because the book isn't really about that. That's just kind of the catalyst that moves the plot forward. I am going to be reading the 4th and final part tonight. My plan is to read that before I go to bed, and when I've finished, I'm going to go and get some sleep because while I would love to try and stay up all night and read as much as possible, I'm super paranoid about sleeping through the midday roll drops, and I need to be awake to actually do those. So your girl is going to be getting some sleep in this readathon. Hands in my sleep. 2019 book, roll number 1. 9. A paranormal or magical realism. This camera angle is so incredibly wonky, but it's finally midnight. I have my cup of lavender tea with a spoonful of honey in my panda mug. I have my book on my Kindle, which, as I mentioned, is A Sacrifice in the Smoke, and I'm ready to smash this. Let's go, me. And I look her in her eyes once more. Your sister tells me, well, that you're moving on and never going back. Completely random update, but I'm only 17% into A Sacrifice in the Smoke, and my favourite character, without a doubt, is Noah. Noah's a vampire, he's a vampire bounty hunter, and they're having a discussion about something. I'm not gonna spoil it. But Charlie just called him an egotistical waste of fangs, and honestly, I love that insult.
Cheers to Becca's Bookoplathon.
Okay, so we're at 2:15 AM now. I'm not making as much progress as I would like to. I'm currently 36% of the way through Sacrifice in the Smoke, and this is the one that I wanted to have done before I went to bed. So it's proven likely that that's actually not going to happen. So I think Ashley is going to FaceTime me in just a second because she wants to do like a live reading. So I'm probably going to do that for about an hour, and then I may have to go and get some sleep and try and wake up at about 10 AM. Let's say, which is 2 hours before the second roll drop, and see if I can actually manage to finish this before that happens, because I would really like to.
But I'm only 30%.
How do you feel?
I'm hurting.
It's 3:47 AM. I'm still awake and I'm mad about it. I ended up talking to Ashley for like 2 hours. I think, nearly 2 hours. And you know, she lured me into this FaceTime and was like, we're gonna do a reading, and I know we're gonna chat for a bit, but then we'll concentrate and we'll read. Did we read? We didn't read a single goddamn page. So now it is 4 AM. I'm still like 36% of the way through A Sacrifice in the Smoke. I'm behind on my own readathon now. I wanted this book finished before I went to bed. I'm probably not gonna wake up early. I run the risk of sleeping through a roll drop, and yeah. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it. Why did I let this happen? I knew this was gonna happen. This is my fault. I mean, it's a little bit Ashley's fault, but it's also my fault as well. So I'm now about to go and get some sleep. I'm going to try and wake up at 9 AM. I'm gonna set an alarm and try and finish A Sacrifice in the Smoke before we get to the second roll drop time. That is now my current aim. Of course, I will let you guys know how I go. Please wish me luck, even though by the time you're watching this, there's absolutely nothing anyone can do about it. So it's 11:40 AM. And I just woke up, so it is official. I nearly slept through the first roll drop, so I'm definitely 100% playing catch up now. I need to get on my computer, sort out the notifications, and also get this new roll drop so that it's actually gonna happen at 12. Okay, we have 5 minutes to go until the next drop. I managed to actually get dressed and also get myself a coffee. Still very much playing catch up, but at least I look a bit more like a human while I'm doing it now. So the roll drop has, yeah, 4 minutes to go. I'm gonna sort that out. I'm gonna grab myself a snack, make my face look a little bit better, get some lunch, and then get reading, because like I'm not accepting this. 2019 border roll number 2. 6. A book that is culturally diverse. So I finally managed to make myself look a little bit more human. Kind of want to just like stand you guys up a little bit, but I don't think I can. So it is 1:13 PM. Gavin is currently taking over the Twitter, so I don't have that to worry about, which is a relief right now. I need to finish A Sacrifice in the Smoke. I've just read a chapter while I grabbed something to eat. So I'm currently 48% of the way through this. And then the next book that I'm going to be reading following the 12 PM roll drop is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. So this is a young adult contemporary that's told entirely in verse. So I'm hoping, yeah, it's not going to take me long to get through it because the pages are like this. But this is the story of a young man who is in an elevator, and I think that this book chronicles his time in this elevator from the top floor down to the bottom, and when he gets to the bottom floor he is going to kill the man that murdered his brother. I think it's his brother anyway. Like, the synopsis doesn't say too much, but I remember when this was released and a lot of people were reading it and really enjoying it. So those are my plans for the foreseeable future, hoping that before Gavin finishes with the Twitter takeover I can finish Charlie Travesty. So instead of doing everything but reading, I'm gonna get on with that and see how I go. Because you know that I won't face the fact, but I don't wanna hear that, 'cause I'm not ready to go in the towel and give up on you. Hey, so my tripod is in a really precarious location. Hey, let's see if I can straighten this up a bit. I need to tidy up a bit in here because, as you can see, there are bits of things on the floor. I just wanted to come and let you guys know that I have now finished A Sacrifice in the Smoke. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was longer than it was because the ebook has a teaser at the end for one of Jessie Elliott's, I think it's her upcoming books. So the book ended at 74%, so I thought I had loads more to read. It was 110 pages in total. I finally got a page count off Goodreads. I definitely enjoyed it. I would say that overall the Charlie Travesty series, the weakest part of it is the the plot structure because it has been serialized, and I think that in some points there is too much action and it feels like one thing after another, whereas I like books to have either an even mix of like slow times and action or a lot more development and time with the characters, which you do definitely get at the beginning of the series, but I think that this last installment kind of just felt like a little bit too much action for me. The ending of that though, I am extremely intrigued where that's going to go because something happened and I think it's a good thing, but at the same time I'm a little bit dubious. But my main character was in this one, so not my favorite installment of the 4. I think my favorite one was the 3rd one, but I did very much enjoy it, and I enjoy Noah. Noah is my fave, and he was quite present in this installment. I'm mad now that I have to wait until next year until I get more of this series, but hey ho, that's how it works with books. So I'm now ready to move on to Long Way Down for the culturally diverse roll drop. I think it's currently going on for 2:30 p.m, so I'm actually not too behind schedule, and I do think that I'm going to end up reading this pretty quickly. Gavin is still on the Twitter, so I still have 30 minutes to relax and unwind before I have to take control of that again, and I am going to do, I think, an Instagram live at 4 p.m. I hope I don't finish this before the Instagram live because I can't be bothered hunting for a new book because it would be viewer recommendation and I would have to go through the comments on one of my old videos and see what you guys have been recommending to me. But yeah, that's where I'm at the minute. We have 9.5 hours until the next roll drop, so I definitely think I'm going to get through this in this time. I'm just a little bit worried for the rest of the roll drops because I think at some time throughout this readathon I'm going to have run out of my shorter books and my quicker to read books and have to read something a little bit lengthier. So just a real quick update, I am currently installing the Audible app, which is annoying, but I've read the first part of this and I do definitely think like I've been recommended to listen to the audiobook, and I wasn't going to, but just reading the first bit I definitely think this is a story that's going to come alive in audio. So I started an Audible free trial. I don't like Audible generally. One is because I just generally don't listen to audiobooks at all, really. I think I probably listen to about 5 a year and I just don't retain information audibly. Is that the right word? Audibly. However, there are a few exceptions where I do think that the audiobook enhances the experience. There are quite a few audiobooks out there where it's recommended that the audiobook is actually better than reading it physically, and Long Way Down does seem to be one of those. So I've started an Audible free trial. Apparently I get 2 free credits because I'm a Prime member, which is nice, but the audiobook as well is only 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is shorter than I thought. I thought it was going to be about 4 hours, so I'm going to be still reading along physically but also listening to the audiobook at the same time, and yeah, I definitely think that that is going to give me the best reading experience of this. Live on Instagram in literally 2 minutes, but I thought I'd better update you guys on what I'm doing because I'm going to finish The Long Way Down in like an hour after the Instagram live, and I also can't read it during the live because I need to listen to the audiobook and I'm going live on my phone. So I'm going to be going with the viewer recommendations prompt. I have not picked a book for this, but I just flicked through my entire own TBR video to see what books you guys had recommended to me the most that were actually doable in like a 30 hour period, and I have 2. So the ones that were most mentioned were the Selection series by Kira Cass and also the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden, which I hadn't started at the time of making that video, but I have now and I'm up to book 3, and this one I will be starting from scratch. So I'm going to go live on Instagram and I'm going to ask everybody to help me pick between these 2 books. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared because I don't want to start a new series right now, but I think this will be easy to read, and this one I've heard is extremely emotional, so I feel like my focus isn't quite there at the moment and I want to be really into this book, and also I don't want to be a hot mess for the rest of this readathon. So Instagram has spoken and I'm going to be reading Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden. I read 20 pages during the live reading sprints and I think I'm already coming up to one of the really sad parts. One of the characters said to another one, "I love you," and just as soon as that happened I knew that something was going to happen to either one of them. If characters have a heart to heart or just say something like "I love you," like you know something bad's gonna happen. So this one is going to end up being my viewer recommendations roll. I imagine I'm going to be reading this in in bits throughout the rest of the readathon. For those of you that don't know, the Winternight trilogy is an adult, really atmospheric, slow-moving historical fantasy that is heavily inspired by Russian folklore, and we follow a girl called Vasilisa who lives in this northern Russian town, and she speaks to the spirits of the household. She is what is known as being sighted, and everything kind of changes in her life when her father remarries and he marries another sighted woman. However, the way that both Vasilisa and her stepmother view these spirits is very different, because her stepmother is a devout Christian and sees them as demons, but Vasilisa recognizes them for what they are, which is protective spirits. So Vasilisa's stepmother ends up bringing a priest with her, and the priest starts to turn the people of the town from worshipping the old gods to Christianity, which means that the spirits are no longer getting tribute, and this leaves the town open to attack from malevolent spirits. So I really loved the first 2 books in this series. I gave The Bear and the Nightingale 4 stars, and then Girl in the Tower is one of my favorite books of the year. I've been told to vlog my reaction to the first like 30 pages of this because something sad's gonna happen, so I will be doing that later on. However, I'm not continuing with this now because I still need to finish my original read, which is The Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. I don't think this is going to take me much longer. I'm currently on page 132 of 322, but the audiobook time I have left is only an hour, so I imagine that I'll be finishing this one pretty quickly, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts.
Only the people who know me, the guy said, reluctantly reaching for Buck's hand. Remember me?
Can I interrogate your mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? What made you so begin?
So around 20 minutes ago, I finished my second book, which was A Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. When I started out, I was kind of a little bit iffy about it. Like, I'm iffy about books that are written in verse anyway, because I just don't like it. I don't like verse, and I don't like modern poetry or anything. Call me uncultured or whatever, it's just really not for me. So I was a little bit iffy about it, and then I put the audiobook on to help me with the verse, and because while it's written in verse and normally, although not always, like 4-line stanzas, like the flow was kind of like not always at the end of the line. You know, you guys probably know how poetry works better than I do, but the audiobook was really good and also definitely helped me get the flow of this. But you know, told in verse, it wasn't as flowery as I expected it to be. I expected it to be quite metaphorical and a little bit more descriptive or abstract, and on one hand I'm kind of glad that it's not, because that's what I don't like about poetry all the time, because you guys know me and abstract concepts just don't really gel. But by the time we get to the end, the story in this and the way that this ends was just so poignant, and I just loved how everything came full circle. So the basic gist of this is the main character's brother has been shot and killed, and he is going down to the bottom floor in the elevator in the apartment block where he lives to go out and kill the man who killed his brother. Now the reason that he's doing this is because there are a set of rules, and the rules are: number 1, don't cry; number 2, don't snitch; and 3, revenge. So he is going out now to fulfill rule 3 and take revenge on the person who killed his brother. Now as he's going down in this elevator, he stops at every single floor, and on every single floor somebody who has died through gun violence gets onto the lift, and these are all people that he's known, whether they're family members or people he's known in passing, people he's known from childhood, and they just have conversations with him. But the entire book is about this cycle of people following these rules to not cry, not snitch, and then get revenge, and how every time somebody takes revenge, it then causes somebody else to take revenge on them, and it just becomes this big cycle that needs breaking to stop all of these young people, not always young people, but they are usually young black men, from continuously being shot in this cycle of gun violence. And the way the end and the meaning behind the end, it was beautifully done. So 4 stars for this. Would recommend if you haven't checked it out. The audiobook on Audible is an hour and 45 minutes, so it's a 322 page book, but yeah, 2 hours of reading in here, and would definitely recommend the audiobook as well, especially if you're unfamiliar with books told in verse. But just generally, the author does narrate it, so I would recommend that you check that out. So I managed to get some food. I watched an episode of Nina, stop doing that. I watched an episode of Angel tonight, and I'm about to get in the bath, but before I do get in the bath, I'm gonna read the next chapter of The Bear and the Nightingale. Am I ready? I don't think I am. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to read the last 2 pages that I've just read, so from here, but I get the full effect of what's going on, and yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I just don't think I'm ready.
Try my very best to always be there. And the stars and moon and sun.
So that was that chapter. I didn't cry. I nearly cried. I don't know if you could tell, but we all know I don't cry at books very often. Yeah, I'm sad about it. I feel like the thing with this is that it was like really early in the book. It was before page 30, and just getting back into the story, you're kind of just getting reaccustomed to how all of the characters feel and who all the characters are and stuff, so it didn't hit me quite like I thought it was going to, or that some of you guys thought it was going to hit me. So that concludes one of the most boring reactions that anybody has ever filmed. I'm actually going to go and charge my phone because I was supposed to do that and I forgot, and then I'm gonna go and get in the bath and read some more of this. It's late, it's 9 PM now, so Cass has just taken over the Twitter, and I'm thinking that before midnight I want to get to around page 100 in here, so I have about 70 pages to go, which should be doable, especially if I'm in the bath. But oh my god, I'm looking forward to a bath.
I had my broken heart, you were my biggest fear, and then you watched me run out of all the right things to say, still finding reasons to stay with you. Gave you a call because I needed a ride, and never thought I'd be with you in your passenger side. And now we're driving downtown, baby, you make me feel young, like I just turned 21, yeah.
Board roll number 3. 10. A book you've been gifted. So the third roll drop has landed, and I also asked Curtis to pick up a light bulb while he was out earlier so we don't have terrible lighting in here anymore. But for this prompt I'm going to be going with The Winter of the Witch still by Catherine Arden. So I picked this earlier for viewer recommends. It's probably going to stand in more for the gifted prompt. This one was gifted to me by Linda, so thank you so much, Linda. Linda is a lifesaver in so many ways. So I'm going to be carrying on with this one for the foreseeable future. I'm on page 62. My plan is to read until it's nearly 12:30 now, so I'm going to be awake I think until about 3, and then I'm going to set an alarm for about 9 AM so that I can get up and hopefully read a little bit more of this. And then when the 4th roll drop comes around, I'm probably going to try and pick something short, and I'll put this one down for a little bit, read that, and then try and finish this before the end of the readathon. So I'm currently just sorting out the Twitter because the roll drop has just happened, so everyone's picking their books. I have Kaz from the Little Book Holes reading sprints on the television, and I'm also getting ready to hand over the Twitter to Mayona for some reading sprints in 40 minutes. So I'm probably going to be a little bit busy on the Twitter until Mayona takes over, but I'm very excited to dive back into this. I haven't read much, but I have been like, I ate and then I went and got a bath. But yeah, this is super absorbing and the chapters just fly by in no time because I'm really absorbed with what's going on. This is definitely the book that I'm most worried about for the readathon, with getting it done in time, but I'm quietly confident that we can make this work. I still haven't read much. I'm currently watching Kaz's reading sprints. It is now 1:06, so there's 9 minutes left of this sprint. I'm currently on page 70, but I just thought I'd let you guys know that I'm cracking open some of the snacks because I haven't really eaten many of them at all yet. Good morning. It's around 9:30 a.m. now, and I'm gonna go live on Instagram in a half an hour while I do my makeup and just check in with everybody and see how everyone's doing. I made it to page 86 of this last night. I don't remember if I checked in with you before I went to sleep, but I'm going to sit and read a little bit of this now for about 20 minutes while I have my coffee and I'm eating a muffin for breakfast, because what is nutrition? I finally went to bed at about 2:30 a.m. I think I was still awake at 3, but when I did go to sleep, I woke up at just before 7 a.m. this morning, and I'd had a nightmare, and it was this really twisted nightmare, and I woke up and I was pretty damn scared. So I came downstairs, had a walk around the house to like walk it off, but it was such a scary nightmare that I was scared even in the daylight, so I went back to bed because Curtis was there to make myself feel a bit better, because when I was thinking about my nightmare, I was realizing that I was having a nightmare before I even realized it was a nightmare. Like, it was seriously fucked up shit. So the lesson to learn here is do not eat incredibly salty snacks before bedtime, because it's really not good for the brain. But I did eventually manage to get back to sleep and get another just over an hour, but I'm awake now. I wish I wasn't. I really want to sleep, but we need to power on through this readathon because I still have a lot of this book left to read. So the Instagram live is over, and now instead of reading, which is what I probably should be doing, I'm putting on Gav's ACMA vlog because I'm so excited and I can't wait. I don't think I've ever been so excited for a video in my life.
So hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Gavin, and today I am doing my Becca's Bookoplathon vlog, aka my ACMA vlog. Yeah, that's me. I do want
cheeky shit. I have 10 minutes to go until the midday roll drop, but I just finished watching Gavin's ACMA vlog, and honestly, it gave me clear skin. It watered my crops. I fucking love that vlog so much. And just seeing Gavin fangirl over my favorite book, just, oh, makes me so happy. It's not my favorite book, it's my second favorite book now, but you know what I mean. Same energy, same vibes. Oh my god, am I accidentally ringing someone? No, I nearly accidentally rang Gavin and Ashley. My bad. But yeah, I gotta go because roll drop happening very soon, but watch Gavin's vlog because it really made my day. If you're a ACOTAR/Sarah J Maas stan, then would recommend. It was chef's kiss. And that was not a good chef's kiss, but you get what I mean. 2020 board roll number 4. 11. A contemporary or a romance. So my final book for the readathon is going to be Stop in the Name of Pants by Louise Renison. This is the 9th book in the Georgia Nicholson series. I have been rereading these books for the last 3 years now. Every so often I occasionally pick one up, and the reason for that is that I never read the last book in the series. So this will be my last reread of the series, and then I will be reading the 10th book for the first time. I'm really excited for that. I think I know who George is going to end up with in the end, but I have managed not to spoil myself, and it has been over a decade now. This is a young adult contemporary coming of age story that follows a teenage girl called Georgia Nicholson between the ages of I think 14 and 16, and it is pretty much just coming of age. She is learning about boys, going through puberty, having disagreements with her friends, dealing with being the only single person when some of her friends are in long-term relationships, also being interested in different boys and not knowing what to do, and confusing boy behavior when they say stuff and you don't know what it means and you obsess over it. So I'm going to be listening to this one on audiobook because all of the audiobooks are on Scribd, so I don't actually know what my afternoon's activities are going to be. Ashley's going to be taking over the Twitter in just under an hour now, and while she's doing that I need to proof a video to go up later today, but I need something to do physically while I listen to the audiobook of this. It's 4 hours and 40 minutes, but I'm not a super good audiobook listener, so I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm going to try my best, and I'm either going to clear through some boxes of stuff that's in the living room and decide what's going to charity and stuff, or make candles, but we'll see. I may, until 1 p.m, read Winter of the Witch, and then while Ashley has control of the Twitter, sort out my video, and then spend the rest of the afternoon listening to this and doing something, but I haven't decided yet. But we'll see how we go. This is going to be my final read for the last 12 hours because I don't actually think I'm going to get around to finishing this, but I'm still going to give it my best shot. I'm just about to carry on with my audiobook. I'm really not far into it. I still have 4 hours and 9 minutes left, but I have finally cracked open the Maltesers. Oh, and I'm just throwing them all over myself. And as usual, I have my trusty glass of Pepsi on my Aquamark coaster. Hey, so I have 3 hours and 50 minutes left in my audiobook. It hasn't been long since I last checked in with you. Let's take these off for a second. But here, the thing that I'm leaning on in front of me, we have this, which is a table that I ordered that is going to be going in that alcove just over there. That door is the door to the cellar and we hardly ever go down there. So I bought a console table to put in front of it. I have the 1975 prints that I opened in my last weekly reading vlog, and I'm going to frame one of those and put it on there. And I also have a lamp that's arriving at the beginning of August. But this table has been sat in my hallway since like Tuesday, so I thought while I'm listening to an audiobook I will assemble it, because I have just cleared that corner. That's the corner that had all of the junk in that I needed to sort out, which I've now done. So we are now at 2:50 p.m. and I do want to go live on Instagram at 4. So I'm hoping that assembling this table will not take me longer than an hour, but we'll see how I go. You guys can watch me struggle, and fair warning, while I'm listening to my audiobook, my phone's probably going to be in my bra so it doesn't get in the way, but let's do this. It actually only took me 15 minutes because I still have 3 hours and 35 minutes left of my audiobook. So it looks like I'm gonna have to find a new afternoon activity, but I'm very excited for my lamp to arrive now and also to get the frame to put pictures on. It's gonna look real good. I'm dedicating every day to you. Domestic life was never quite my style. When you smile, you knocked me out, I fall apart, and I thought I was so smart. We'll give the world to you and you'll blow us all away. Someday, someday, yeah, you'll blow us all away. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Oh, there's ducks outside. So Curtis distracted me for a hot minute there. So it is now almost 9 p.m. I'm on page 216 of this. This is taking so much longer than I wanted it to. So I have around 70 pages left, which is an hour and 25 minutes on my audiobook, which takes me pretty much directly up to the live show. So I think my audiobook is on 1.2 times speed, and there is a glossary in here that's read out in the audiobook that I never listened to. So I'm guessing that is going to be about an hour. I kind of want to make candles, but I have to open a new box of wax, which means wrestling with 23 kilos of wax, which I'm not really prepared to do because I'm getting hell sleepy. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just going to sit here, but sitting here makes me really tired because I nearly fell asleep earlier. But yeah, regardless, I do not have any time to waste now. We are down to the wire on this one book. Not even going to have time to read a manga to fulfill the gifted prompt. So it looks like we're going to be just accepting defeat and going with 3 and a bit books for completion of the readathon, which I'm still not mad about. But at this point, I kind of just want to go to bed, but I'm going to power through. I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to have time to review this for you before the live show. I'm calling it. That's what's happening. Now let's go. Oh my god. Okay, it is 21:57. It is 3 minutes to 10, and I have finally finished my third read, which is Stop in the Name of Pants by Louise Renison. I would love to fill you in on my thoughts. I loved it. It's a reread for me, and it's a good job it was a reread, because 5 hours of audiobook in one day is not for me. Just having to pay attention to an audiobook for that long does not work for me, somebody who does not listen to audiobooks very often, if at all. So it was a struggle, which is why it's took me to 10 p.m. But But right now I have to go and prepare for the live show that's happening in 30 minutes. So if I don't check in with you guys before then, I will check in with you guys after the live show to wrap this whole thing up. Hey, so it's 1:30 a.m. now and Bookoplathon is officially over. First off, I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated. It was a wild ride. As soon as I posted my announcement video, I 100% did not expect the amount of people who actually ended up joining in. I was shocked to start off with, and then the amount of people who actually turned up for the readathon. Once again, I was shocked. So thank you guys so much for participating. I had a wild ride. I had a great time, but I'm also extremely tired right now. I'm not in the process of planning a month-long one. I have an idea for it. I know what I'm doing, but I haven't actually done anything yet. So that may be coming soon, but I have a lot of work to do before we get there. So the last thing that I finished was Stop in the Name of Pants by Louise Readathon. I did really enjoy this, but I gave it 4 stars, which means that it is one of only 2 in the entire series that I've reread so far that I've given 4 stars. I love this series. It has not really aged well, but just a nostalgia thing, like a throwback read. This series meant a lot to me when I was a kid, and I just love revisiting it. And they're still funny to this day, and they still make me feel the same way. I don't know whether I'm giving this 4 stars because I had to read the entire audiobook in one day, because for me, listening to something for more than 2 hours kind of irritates me. So yeah, I'm not sure if that is the reason why it's getting a 4-star instead of a 5, but like I said, it was a reread for me anyway. I'm so excited to go into the last book of this series, not having read it before. That's one that I'm not gonna read all that in one go. I'm gonna take it quite slowly over a number of days and really pay attention to what's going on. But 4 stars for this. And then Winter of the Witch, I did not manage to finish. We knew this was coming. I'm on page 138 of this so far, so I haven't really said anything about this aside from what the series is about. This 3rd book has once again taken a different turn. So this one kicks off directly after the end of The Girl in the Tower, which is why I feel like the big sad thing that happens didn't have much emotional impact with me. And from that point onwards, which is like 30 pages in, Vasya is in this strange location, and everything that's kind of going on at the minute, it's a little bit too soft magically for me. It's a little bit like intangible, and things aren't logical, they're not concrete. And you guys know I like to have things with reason, so like we have the spirits in here and the gods, and I can totally accept that, and the spirits, like, they make sense, they all have specific purposes, but it's just now that she's in this place and it's kind of, it's full of riddles almost. So I'm not enjoying that aspect of it, but I think I'm going to start really enjoying this soon, because she is on a mission, and the mission that she is on, what she's going to do. See, her overall purpose is like for the greater good. It's like save the world kind of mission, but her immediate task is to find someone, and I'm really digging that, and I'm excited to see how that is going to resolve. We do kind of have 2 plot lines in here. There's kind of the almost war or the rivalry between men and the spirits, because the spirits are fading into non-existence because they're not receiving tributes anymore. So they really don't like humans, because humans are now leaning more towards Christianity and forgetting about them. And a lot of the humans that would have been sighted in the past or would have believed in these gods no longer do. But we also have a political plot line in here where Russia is at war against the Tatars. Tatars? I'm really not sure. But yeah, I'm still really enjoying the writing in this. Vasya is continuing to be a really frustrating character, where she's doing things that people are telling her not to do, and she's not doing things that she should be doing, and she's making a few dumb mistakes. But I do still really love Vasilisa. So I'm hoping to finish this next week. I will be reading it alongside City of Brass, so we'll see how I do with how much time I have. I don't see myself having much time over the next 2 days, but later in the week my schedule is a lot clearer. So overall for the readathon, I read 813 pages in total across 4 books. I only completed 3 books, and I only completed 3 prompts because I didn't double up on anything. I don't think I could have doubled up on anything. This could stand in for a contemporary as well as for being a book that's culturally diverse if I was to double up, but then I did read this for the contemporary prompt anyway, so I'm not too bothered about doubling up, because that wasn't necessarily the aim. I would have liked to have read 4 books, but I'm not mad that I didn't read 4 books, because 813 pages is still a quarter of what I usually read across an entire month. So the first prompt that I completed from the first roll drop was to read a paranormal or a magical realism / fabulism. For that I read the 4th installment of the Charlie Travesty series by KJ Sutton and Jesse Elliott, A Sacrifice in the Smoke, and I gave that 4 stars. The next prompt that I completed was from the second roll drop, which was to read a book that is culturally diverse, and for that one one, I read The Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, and once again I gave this one 4 stars. The next book I attempted to complete for the 3rd roll drop was to read a book that had been gifted to you, and for that I attempted to read The Winter of the Witch by Catherine Arden, which I had originally started for the viewer recommendations prompt and had carried through into the 3rd roll drop, and I managed to get 138 pages into this, which is just over a third and just under halfway through this book. And then the final book that I managed to read, the final book I completed, was to complete the prompt to read a contemporary horror romance from the 4th roll drop, and for that one I reread Stop in the Name of Pants by Louise Renison, and I gave this one 4 stars as well. I'm calling it a win, you know. I've never read this much. Well, I probably have read this much across 2 days before, but not across so many books, I don't think. So here are my completed Bookoplathon books. I've had a blast. Hosting is stressful and tiring, but I really had a great time. I'm thinking after I've sorted out a month-long version of this readathon, I'm going to make it seasonal. I definitely don't want to be doing this every month, and I don't think I can handle it bi-monthly either. So yeah, we're going with seasonal. So there won't be a 48-hour round in autumn because I'm hoping to get a month-long version for you then, and so the next 48-hour round is likely to be in winter, providing I do carry on doing these. But you guys seem to have really enjoyed them. I enjoyed hosting. I love the anticipation of the rolls. I originally started Bookopoly because I love readathons and I love having prompts, so I love the anticipation of actually getting the prompts. Like reading through them, not as exciting, but just setting the prompts every month and finding books to fill them I find really satisfying, and I'm glad that I could extend that out to you with the added anticipation of not knowing what you're going to read because you have to wait for the roll drops during the readathon. So I think that about concludes my Bookoplathon vlog. Can't lie, a little bit scared about editing this because I think I have quite a lot of footage, but that is a problem for probably Tuesday, so I'm not going to think about it now. I'm going to go get some sleep finally. But thank you so much to you guys for participating. I'm so excited to watch everybody else's vlogs as well. Like that's what I'm going to spend the most of my week doing while I'm making candles and packing orders. I'm excited for that chaotic content. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog if you made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.